Hi there, and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we'll be learning about integers, okay? And under integers, we'll be learning to multiply and divide negative integers. Okay, so in the last lesson, we learned to add and subtract negative integers. This time, we'll be learning to multiply and divide negative integers. So, as the lesson progresses, anything you don't understand, be sure to contact your tutor, who would be more than happy to help. And yeah, let's jump right into the lesson. So, multiplication and division of negative integers. Now, multiplying and dividing negative integers really easy. Okay, there really isn't much to it. Very simple. All right, it's not too different from multiplying regular positive integers. We just have a few laws we have to follow. Okay, so let's talk about multiplication. Okay, so when you're multiplying negative integers, simply if you're multiplying a positive, basically if you're multiplying a positive and a positive integer, you end up with a positive integer. Okay, but now if you're multiplying a positive and a negative integer, so a positive number and a negative number, you end up with a negative number. Okay, you multiply the numbers as you would, but then you need to be mindful of the signs. If you multiply positive by negative, you end up with negative. If you multiply negative by positive, pretty much the same thing, you end up with negative. Okay, and then if you multiply negative by negative, you end up with positive. Okay, now just keep this in mind. Anytime the signs are different, you end up with a negative number. Anytime the signs are the same, you end up with a positive number. So if you multiply positive by positive, you end up with positive. If you're multiplying negative by negative, you end up with positive. Okay, but anytime you multiply positive by negative or negative by positive, you end up with a negative number. Okay, if the signs are different, you end up with negative number. If the signs are the same, you end up with a positive number. Okay, similarly, division, pretty much the exact same laws. Okay, so if you have a positive divided by a negative, you end up with a negative. If you have a negative divided by a positive, you end up with a negative. And if you have a negative divided by a negative, you end up with a positive. Okay, so if the signs are different, you end up with a negative number. If the signs are the same, whether positive or negative, as long as the two signs are the same, you end up with a positive number. Okay, negative divided by negative is positive. Okay, and yeah, that's it. All right, that's pretty much there is to it, and that's pretty much all you need to know. Okay, let's go ahead and solve some examples. So we have example 1. And example 1 says solve 2 times minus 5. Okay, so now we have a positive multiplying a negative number. Is our answer going to be negative or positive? The signs are different, positive by negative, so our answer is going to be negative. Okay, now we have 2 times minus 5. All right, and we just multiply the two numbers. Generally, if you multiply 2 times 5, you'd have 10. Okay, but so 2 times minus 5, our answer is going to be negative. What we have is minus 10. It's that simple. Okay, so basically if you're looking to multiply negative numbers, you just multiply them as though the signs weren't there. Okay, as though you just had the two numbers. So for example, in this case, you just multiply 2 times 5 and it gives you 10, and then you look at the signs. Are the signs the same or different? In this case, we have a positive and a negative number, so our answer must be negative. So our answer would be minus 10 instead of 10. Now, let's do a few more examples. Example 2. And example 2 says solve minus 7 times minus 3. Okay, minus 7 times minus 3. Now, this is very easy. So minus 7 times minus 3. Now, we have a negative and a negative number. Okay, so two negative numbers. We're multiplying two negative numbers. And what we know is anytime we have the same signs, okay, we have minus and minus, our answer would be positive. Okay, it doesn't matter whether the signs are minuses or pluses, as long as they're the same. You're multiplying two numbers with the same signs. Okay, so negative times negative, your answer will be positive. So now you just multiply the numbers without the signs. So 7 times 3, you have 21. your answer would be positive. So minus 7 times minus 3 is 21. Okay, positive 21. Simple. Let's do another one. Example 3. Example 3 says 15 divided by minus 3. 15 divided by minus 3. Now, how do we go ahead and solve this? So 15 divided by minus 3. Now we have a positive number divided by a negative number. So we have positive or negative. Our answer is going to be negative because the signs are different. Okay, so positive and negative. And now we just divide the numbers as though we did not have the signs there. Okay, look, as though you did not have the signs there. So you just pick up 15 divided by 3 is 5. Okay, and because our signs are different, our answer will be negative. So what we have is minus 5. If you had a situation where the signs were the same, you would have positive 5. But since you have a situation where the signs are different, you have negative 5. Okay, I think I have a few more examples. Example 4. And example 4 says solve minus 24 divided by 6. Okay, so we have minus 24 and we're dividing by 6. Now, we have a negative number divided by a positive number. So the signs are different, meaning our answer is going to be negative. Okay, because the signs are different, answer would be negative. So now we divide the numbers as though the signs were not there. Okay, so put away the minus for now and just go 24 divided by 6. It will give you 4. But because the signs are negative, our answer must be negative. So we have minus 4. Simple. Okay, if you had a situation where you had 24 divided by minus 6, okay, you divide 24 by 6, you have your answer 4. And basically with minus 24 times divided by minus 6, okay, if you had a situation where the signs were the same, you would have a positive answer, and your answer in that case would just be 4. Okay, now let's do one final example, and this is minus 50 divided by minus 2. Minus 50 divided by minus 2. Okay, so we have a negative number divided by a negative number. Now look at this. Would your answer be positive or negative? Answer would be positive, okay, because the signs are the same. It doesn't matter if the signs are negative or positive. As long as the signs are the same, you end up with a positive number. If the signs are different, you end up with a negative number. Just keep that in mind. If the signs are the same, you end up with positive. If the signs are different, you end up with a negative number. Okay, and basically you just go and divide as though the signs weren't there. Okay, and basically just go and say 50 divided by 2, it'll give you 25. And basically because of the signs are the same, your answer would be a positive number. So you just go ahead and say minus 50 divided by minus 2 is 25. And that is it. Okay, multiplication, very straightforward. Shouldn't be confused with addition and subtraction. When you're adding and subtracting negative number, make use of your number line. Okay, but for multiplication and division, you just multiply as though the signs weren't there. Okay, and then you look to see, are we working with the same signs or different signs? If the signs are different, you have a negative number, a negative result. And if the signs are the same, your result will be positive. Okay, it doesn't matter whether the signs are negative or positive. As long as they're the same, the result would be positive. And yeah, that would bring us to the end of this lesson. Okay, so you go ahead and attempt the questions on the worksheet. Bye for now.